Oppenheimer is the type of movie that has a lot of impact. Some might even call it explosive. Bye! Guys, I'm very impressed. For real this time, Oppenheimer is real good. It's my favorite movie of the year so far. Although I recommend you see it, it is rated R and it's quite the hefty R. So if you're planning on taking the kiddies, just know that boobies are out and there's a couple F-bombs.
Watch your profanity.
Other than that, take the whole family. I also want to stress that I'm not going to get very into spoilers here. In my Barbie review, I touched on spoilers a little bit, but it's because I don't really care about the Barbie movie that much, I'm gonna be honest. Except psych, because Barbie's peak cinema. I've already said this many times! But anyways, one of the things I really appreciate about Oppenheimer is that it's very politically neutral. I feel like a lot of times you'll watch a movie in theaters and you'll be like, this is appealing to the left and this is appealing to the right. And in nature, it's deeply ingrained in politics as it is about nuclear weaponry being developed by Oppenheimer. And I feel that the movie does a good job at not trying to piss off one side or the other.
Facts don't care about your feelings.
For example, there is some stuff involving communism in here, but it's not like, socialism good, socialism bad. It's just socialism there, but it's not like they're making a political statement about it, which I do appreciate, and that's pretty consistent with the entire movie. Another thing that I really, really appreciate is just how every shot in the movie, all of it is practical, in camera, no CGI. How is it possible? Watching the movie, I thought, it's fine, they'll just fake a bomb scene. But there's so much more. There's like Oppenheimer's head of how he sees atoms interacting with other atoms, things that I can't explain because I'm not that smart. Point is, they do so many things in camera that I don't even know how. It's like almost like, Christopher Nolan, are you lying to me? Are you just saying it's practical, but you secretly use CGI? If you did, it's okay. I just want you to tell me. I just want to know, man to man, and you can tell me you use CG, and I won't judge you. It can be our little secret. Another thing that I really, really appreciate is just how human all of the characters feel. And I know it's like, I'm not trying to say that other movies, they're just robots, but oftentimes they can feel like caricatures, like they're not on the same plane of existence as we are. Oppenheimer doesn't make that mistake. Every character in the movie feels so tangible, so in our reality, that it just makes you feel for the characters. The weight of their emotion weighs on you as well. And that's something that I can't say about 90% of movies, and it's okay to have a fantasy movie. It's just, this isn't one of them. It takes it very seriously, and I do appreciate that. Start off, Oppenheimer, played by Cillian Murphy. Fantastic job. Maybe the best performance of the year. I never once saw Scarecrow. Never once saw that guy from The Quiet Place. Never once saw the guy from Inception. What I saw was Oppenheimer. To the point where I forgot that he was playing that character. It just was Oppenheimer. And beyond the performance, Oppenheimer as a character is so complex and so deep, and he has so many different things going on in his head, and he's not perfect at all. He makes plenty of mistakes, he does immoral things, and he's often wrong in a lot of his science, but I appreciate that they also portray that he's still a smart individual, he's a human individual, he feels bad about his mistakes, and he grows from his mistakes, he learns from his mistakes, and you truly feel the burden that comes with developing an atomic bomb. And that's something that most people really can't relate to, but you can understand the pain and misery that comes with that, and the movie does such a good job showcasing that, and I really appreciate it. I also think his wife, played by Emily Blunt, was such a standout performance. What I like about her is I feel like she's a very strong woman, but not in like the type of way. At the end of the day, she was a really good wife, and she supported Oppenheimer in an adult way, and it didn't feel like this blossoming love story where they're just so infatuated with each other like in other movies out there.
I'm not gonna end your life for you.
I'm dying already.
What the
It felt more realistic, grounded in how actual relationships are. And you do get a taste of that infatuous, toxic relationship, but they portray it as this is something that has to stop. It can't stay that way. Also, I knew he was going to be in this movie, but I wasn't expecting him to have such a prominent role. And that's Robert Downey Jr. as a guy named Strauss? something. I'm not 100% sure, but he just gives a really good exploration into humans' desire to gain power, but also suffering to the vice of pride. I don't want to give too much away about him because the things that they did with his character were things that I weren't exactly expecting, and I want everyone to have a surprise in that aspect. Out of the 3 characters that I've mentioned, I feel that they all deal with themes inside the story itself that are important to the overall narrative, like maturing, growing up, realizing that sometimes your baser instincts and your animalistic desires aren't what's important, and sometimes you have to make mature decisions and just relationships. The big thing though, obviously, is the impact of mass destruction on the planet. They go over the events where the United States drops nuclear bombs on Japan, and they don't show that part, but you see it through Oppenheimer's perspective, him hearing about it, him being sad about it, him reacting to what happened. And it's a realistic take because that's how all Americans would have been reacting to it, because they weren't there. And that also just leads into how different people feel about it. Well, on one hand, you have the Oppenheimer people that are like, this is terrible that this happened to human life at all. And then you have the corporate heads, the people that are just, hey, we won the war, so who cares? And I don't necessarily think it portrays either one as just being incredibly wrong, though since it's from Oppenheimer's perspective, obviously the more sympathetic side is more favorable. And the last thing that I thought really added a touch of relevancy to this movie, and by relevancy I mean it relates to the modern times, is how they utilized government censorship and abusing the law to get what you want in a very sketchy way. The story is non-linear. You're hopping back and forth between time periods where Oppenheimer's young, old, in the middle. It can be kind of hard to keep track of, but the main through line is that Oppenheimer is retelling his experiences because he is being tried for his security clearance and if he's loyal to the United States. And a lot of that is because people don't necessarily agree with what they're saying and they don't like it, so they label him as a Russian asset. I feel like nowadays you see so many narratives with the media and the government conspiracies to frame people, and I think it's important that everyone should be able to share their opinion on things. What I like about the message though is it's not like nothing you can do, the government sucks. It's all it takes is one person to speak the truth, to make somewhat of a difference, and I think that's really cool. That's dope, guys.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
And it's good to have a message of hope in a movie that's so deeply depressing at times, whether it's Oppenheimer's life, his guilt, or just the fact that so many people died from atomic bombs back in World War II, and how scary the prospect of nuclear warfare still is to this day. But yeah, guys, I thought Oppenheimer rocks in a sad-ish way, but it's such a deeply impactful film. The craft. Christopher Nolan just knows how to make movies. Go see it. Unless you don't watch rated R movies. Bye!